Welcome to the chat room. We got the fun and games. Why is it that they set my friggin' streams to normal latency on YouTube? Why? Why is it that they set my... Okay.
Howdy, howdy.
Howdy, howdy, Mana. Let me just set things up on YouTube a little bit, because yay. Horrible. They somehow set my original streaming speed down to normal latency instead of ultra low latency. So the response time is going to be quite low. Give me a second while I can't undo that. Yeah. So thanks for stopping by. Come on. Thanks for stopping by. Exclamation point. Go
Howdy,
check out
howdy,
for faster chat on Twitch.
Hiya Selvala.
Okay. There we go. Hi, Selvala. Hi, Manta. We're reading novels today. What a novel concept. But I'm gonna turn on my RAM and CPU limiter on my browser as well, because I'm opening several browsers. I'm also made some changes to chapter 1 as well, because pardon me. Why are you not damn it, live screen, please?
Novel stream.
Yep.
I am gonna be back later with the help of Kyoji.
Hooray. Yep. Yeah, please come back. Please.
Baby come back LOL.
Yeah, okay, anyways. Come back, Allie. Come back, Allie, sister. Give me a second. Wait, why
Is
is
Mini
it?
Manta still slacking?
Yes, he is. Give me a second. Where is it? Not this. Mini Manta starts to slack every single time I on body. Ah. Give me a second. What happened to my friggin'
Darn it, the dubbing company is underpaid again.
Not this. This is friggin' Bluetooth. Okay, reset the inputs. And restart the engine. Okay. This. Close this. And go Comeback Alley, comma, Comeback Alley sister. Comeback Alley, comma, Comeback Alley sister.
Come back alley sister.
Wow, you are still so delayed. Give me a second. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog.
Finally. Finally, we could switch to face cam. Hello, folks. It's me. I'm Big and I'm back and we're live. Little Manta. Stop slacking, little Manta. Not the other Manta, or the random Manta, or the better Manta.
He.
Yep. But yeah, we're back, and we're going to do some reading of my novel. But I have. So what?
What? Now you're a writer.
Hi, Afria.
Writer asterisk.
Richard, I hardly know her. No, but yes, I am. The thing about this is, okay, I'm gonna link to my wiki. Please don't go and whatchamacallit, abuse it or anything. The thing about it is, it's a bit of a side project, Ephria. And I basically came up with a it's not quite a novel, but it is a novel. What a novel concept. I made that already a pun. But I came up with what this started off as. Right? Let me just go ahead and post the wiki here. What this started off as was that I, back in the day, quote unquote, back in the day, my channel's known for Unlimited Saga, right? So when I played Unlimited Saga, the biggest design flaw it had was the magic system. And I started off saying, okay, the magic system is bad. Let's see if we could fix it, right? And then after a while, I came up with my own magic system. And after I came up with my own magic system, I started expanding the game so that it fit the newer magic system. And I realized that expanding the game based upon the magic system made more sense to overlay it over a new game rather than the old one. So I created a concept of a game design document on what my dream game would be like. And after a while, it became a kind of a side project or an idea that I came up with. And I didn't touch it. I put it in a wiki somewhere, that particular wiki, and it got deleted because it was inactive for a year or so. And miraculously it came back. But it came back. Yep. And after the wiki came back, I thought, okay, take it as a sign. Let's go ahead and go back to this. And I started writing a few more entries here and there.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I brought more entries here and there. Then I wrote a little. Then I did this video. Let me just go ahead and look for it. It is basically a where's the? Just give me a second while I look for my video. I did a travelogue excerpt to basically world build to drum up interest, right? So let me just go look at my videos. Go to my content. Yep, so get shareable link here. And yeah. And I made a radio travelogue and I dubbed it over with a transatlantic. Oh, welcome to the seven wonders of the seven realms kind of thing. And then after that, I started writing more and more things. And before I knew it, it bloomed into a project. And I kept writing. And now I'm 2 chapters into my novel. And last week I read the first chapter. Yep. So I'm going to open up my chapters soon, but I'm going to actually first thank my members, which is Apilux Manta, Rafael Vega Chapa, Amisam, and Chris Burton. You guys currently are the members and or subscribers on Twitch at the time of streaming, and that means you get to watch vids early, cool badges and emojis, but more importantly, you all get turned into a Pokemon if you want to get turned into a Pokemon and join my
It's going
Pokedex.
well so far, these world building.
Yep, it's going well, but right now I am in my hyperfixation mode of the ADHD phase, so I don't know when and how I will stop doing this, but most likely, how do I say this? Most likely I'm going to try to do Worldbuilding Wednesdays as a thing to keep me motivated and to help me stay on track, if you know what I mean. I mean, if I have like a weekly basis to write my novel chapter by chapter, I won't delay it. It means I have a deadline and this project gets completed. If you know what if that's what it is. But okay, so I'm going to start the stream off by just visiting random wiki articles.
Do you mind if I have some
Oh.
of your tasty beverage to wash?
I'm gonna hydrate. Give me a second. I just have a cup of coffee off screen, by the way. So thanks for the redeem. Okay, let's switch to my game dev screen. I'm not sure if it's set up properly yet. Yeah, there it is. There you go. And I have this off. This is an unused quite rarely used side window that I don't rarely use anymore. This is also back when I had a Romance of the Three Kingdoms thing going on as a project that I should also revisit. But yeah, that's generally the things. That's the gist of my channel. Currently, I have Wednesdays off as a side project day. So let's go on. Let me just look through the wiki here and see if I have any kind of thing I wanted to show in particular. Inactive tabs get a new look, whatever. But yeah, this is the design document for a game, but this is not a anything in particular. Okay, so let's go ahead and I'm gonna go back to the memoirs page. So I'm not sure if I linked the memoirs to the main page or not. But let's just go ahead and go to explore and look at all pages. Oh no, so many side pages. But we could go to the memoirs here. Yep, if you follow the to the memoirs, and we have the main pages completed. Oh, this is the preface. This is pretty much done. But okay, so let's go back to some of the revisions I made on Explore Part 1. I made some changes to the date because there's I had to redo the calendar so it makes sense in my mind, right? So oh yeah, let's go ahead and talk calendar dates. This is another thing that I was so obsessed with. So you know how in our regular old world we have the 12th month calendar, and the 12th month calendars has so many quirks about it, right? It divides the months divides the months nicely into quadrants of 4 seasons, isn't it? Doesn't it? But the only problem with the 12-month calendar is that it has a tendency to it doesn't fit very well into the 365 days of the year. And some months have 28 days, some months have and certain years they have 29, and other months have between 30 and 31 days, which I felt was right. And those with triskaidekaphobia and have a phobia of 13 months and the number 13 would realize that this is another proposed alternative to the Gregorian calendar, right? And this is not something I came up with on the fly, but it is interesting alternative, right? And that is the 13-month calendar. If we divide 365 days into chunks of 13, we would have 28 days per month. So it's 13 times 28. Every single month will have 28 days. Okay. So what would that look like in reality? This is a fun experiment I came up with. If all of the months have 28 days, that means that every single Monday, for example, will always be the first. The first, the 8th, the 15th, the first, the 8th, the 15th, and the whatchamacallit, 22nd will always be a Monday, for example. and it will and anybody who has a thing about, oh, how come like days of the week don't fall on different, yeah, like 7 doesn't go neatly into days of the week. So that is a bit of a world building uh kind of thing. It's just that 13 months doesn't fit neatly into the year. That's the only thing. And I think people who have fears of the number 13 would absolutely hate this calendar system, right? I mean, fear of the number 13 is a thing, isn't it? Triskaidekaphobia. It's a magic card. Yeah, anyways. So, but now we're 13 months and 28 days would leave us with 364 days, meaning that there's 1 day left over for the year. So I thought, let's just make it a New Year's Day. So we have a Crown Day, which is a sacred holiday outside the standard months. Imagine a New Year's Day that is not counted. That is not Monday, not Tuesday, not Wednesday, not Thursday, not Friday, not Saturday, but 1 day a year that it falls outside the calendar. That's the most sacred day of the year. So yeah, there's so that's the gist of what it looks like. And we have the Crown month, which is the New Year's month, followed by spring, summer, autumn, and winter months. And this is just very medieval sounding different months, right? And different things. Yep. And I originally had Crown month be the beginning of the year. So we had Crown Day, then the Crown month, which made no sense. No, which was fine, but it felt like more appropriate that the last days of the year, the Crown month, or Crown moon, was the month of endings before Crown Day. So everything that happens during Crown month is just it fits also narratively into the similar cultures to my own. Chinese New Year. Usually, when during Chinese New Year, it's bad luck to kind of travel, go out, and everything, because it was the month of ending. Everything was. It makes sense to count, settle debts, remember things, and then New Year, right? It felt kind of thematically appropriate. So long story short, I overthought about the calendar and then restarted the whole thing. And we had there's also lunar tracking and things, which I still haven't thought of yet. No, I've already thought of, but it needed to revise, right? And there's things like and since this is a lunar calendar, there are cool things that happen with a 28th day month, because there are going to be, since the month whatchamacallit, about 20 with every around 20 months, since it's 28 days for per month, there's gonna be an occurrence where there are moonless months, where the beginning where the month began with like there's no full moon in that month. There's a full moon at the beginning and the end of the month, which is like whoa kind of thing, right? So it's there's lots of really cool cosmic stuff, and yeah, I overthought things, but all right, let's go ahead and go and look at the memoirs chapter 1, where I made some changes. The thing is, the two major changes here was the one that Manta suggested. Where was the one? Yep. I think it's
You're very passionate about it.
uh hyper fixated. But yes, the thing is, why this novel came about, right? Was because I created the video first, the Seven Wonders video, and then I thought, let's world build a bit more. And as soon as I said, let's world build a bit more, I wanted this to document the Saint Zara's the miracles that happened in the in the world, which is basically a pre-game event. I created a pre-game lore of a saint traveling the world and causing miracles, right? And I wrote a character who's this scribe called Jacob, who followed around the saint and documented everything, right? And the more I wrote, the more I built the world, the more I wrote, the longer the novel became. Originally, I was going to do 7 chapters, 7 short chapters, and then done, right? But now the first chapter is now split into 3. So yeah, I wrote a little bit too much. But so good news, chapter 2 is done. Bad news, it hasn't concluded the first arc yet. It's not even an arc. It hasn't concluded the first events yet. Because the actual events is very, like, the actual event itself happens after this. So and we found a good stopping point, so we had to stop. Yeah. But anyways, to back to where it was. First off, Mana, you had a line about cheesy musk that you hated, right? And I was really had a hard time rewriting it because I didn't want the line to because I wanted the visceral image because it literally smelled like rotting cheese. So I cannot so I wanted to include the word cheese in it still, but I still but you said the issue wasn't the fact that but I realized then in what you said that the issue wasn't the fact that uh the image was cheesy. It was the fact that cheesy was used as an adverb, yeah, or adjective, or yeah, cheesy was used as an adverb. So I rewrote it. It's I rewrote this as my nose instinctively scrunched as their fetid musk, akin to rotting cheese, cut through the biting chill. So I thought that was more appropriate. But I'm not sure if that's even more words. You said less words, right? But I wrote even more words. I'm sorry. I took your advice in the other direction. So, so you might go of that about that change, right? And then the next thing is
Fetid musk, akin to rotting cheese. That sounds much better in structure.
yes, it does. Yeah. So I had to think about the problem and what you actually said and process it, and came out yeah, and that's what came out. All right, and the other thing is that I relocated the calendar. So as you can see here, everything happens in AW 11/8/20 now instead of 8/21, right? He was born on AW 1100 11/800. Yeah. So that was so just changed some names and dates, right? And the little miracle, or the pre-miracle, I'll say, happened in on Crown Day, as you can see here. And then I wrote a small passage regarding Crown Day before heading on to the Warrior's Cage. So I'll read this now. And sorry, Ephria, if you're gonna cringe at this, because the character itself I decided is kind of the characters of African slash yeah like his culture is African, so I imagined him having a Nigerian accent. So I'm sorry if this made you cringe a little bit that an Asian person is reading things in a Nigerian accent. Well, if Tony could do it, so could I. Anyways. Alas, my first crown day away from home. Back in Anzania, the streets would be alive with dancers, bright costumes, and voices lifted in song. A chaos of joy that seemed to wash the year clean. Here, the morning lulled, their streets hushed, their people bundled in furs, moving with purpose, but little cheer. Though I preferred the quiet halls of the monastery, I found myself missing the warmth of crowded squares and familiar faces, the taste of sweetbread, the smell of incense. Instead, our New Year's dawned with cold winds and quiet stares as we visited the colossal ruins of the warrior's cage. Yeah, and it continues where it left off. And yeah, I just spotted a punctuation error already. So, yep, let me go and fix that in the original wiki file. And I'll continue afterwards. Where's the original wiki file? Memoirs. Where are you, memoirs? Previous chapter. I needed to fix the memoirs here. See, I always liked the idea of reading my own novel because as soon as I read it out loud, I start spotting mistakes, right? It's slower. Mm-hmm. 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 Right. Okay. And with that edit done, we're gonna go and switch to this chapter, then start the next one. Okay. Let me do a bit of stretching. Wait, why is the uh why is Alameo censored here? It shouldn't be.
Hey sup man.
Hey, sup, Mark Baker. Thanks for being here,
I
buddy.
bought a PS1 Slim today.
Ooh.
Oh hi
Wait.
Mark.
Wait. PS1 Slim? Wait, PS2 Slim or the PSX? Which one?
It's pretty slim, Jim.
Yeah. But yeah, my kidneys will thank me. But by the way,
Oh sup
if
guys.
yep. Yep. So
PS1 Slim.
huh, okay. So the tiny
It
little
can get an
PSX thing?
attached screen.
Oh, one of those. I remember the one with the detachable screen. Yeah, but anyways, if you don't know what we're doing, Mark, I'm reading my novel today, and then I'll do a bit of Gundam later. Hopefully, maybe I'm not sure, but um, yeah. So we're doing a bit of reading and writing. You can go and if the thing is on YouTube, the stream is slightly delayed. So if you follow the link to the social pin comment, you could go to well my Discord amongst other things, but also my Twitch. If you're okay with watching on Twitch, but YouTube's fine. It's just that the chat's going to be a little bit delayed compared to everyone else. So, anyways, where are we? Oh yeah, we're gonna read. Okay, and I'm gonna read, and you're gonna have people cringe at my poorly done African accent, African Nigerian accent. Wait, is there a name for the accent? There should be, right? Okay. It's bad that I don't even know what the name of the accent is. I know it's kind of Nigerian. Yep. In origin, like West African, probably. Hooray! Okay, are people ready? I hope you guys are ready. Anyways, so now we're in AW 11.
Nice.
Yep. We have an AW 11 821 on the first day of Blue Moon.
Malgasi.
Malgasi? What's Malgasi? Malgasi? Is that the name of the accent? Okay. Anyways. I can scarcely hold the quill. The ink runs.
Malagasy.
Malagasy? Yep. All right, let's go ahead. Yeah. I can scarcely hold the quill. The ink runs where my hand trembles, blotting the page. But if I do not write this now...
Oh, no, it's not. I was just saying LOL.
Oh, okay. Yep. And also, beware that since I'm reading this, I'm also recording for my... I'm going to... Actually, let me just turn off the TTS briefly. So that... since I'm reading this, I want the... like, little interruption. Yep, thank you. I want the interruption to not show up for a little bit anyways, so that I can record this. Just give me a second. Right. I can scarcely hold the quill. The ink runs where my hand trembles, blotting the page. But if I do not write this now, the truth will slip from me like blood upon stone. My ears still ring, my eyes still burn with what I witnessed, and yet I must set it down. I must. What words I have now are scavenged, stitched from what survived. What? Stitched from what survived, and what will not leave me even in dreams. The first sign that things were amiss were the crowds. As crown moon passed, the streets swelled. The masses pushed forward into the... The masses pushed forward to... Okay. The masses pushed towards the inner quarter. If not for the carriages spent personally by the Usurian elites, we would have never made it past the inner gates into the castle. The roars drifting from the warrior's cage told me enough. The games had begun. The audience chamber were empty by comparison, tiered with each cast in its ordained place. Snowarians lined up the gallery, unseen but always watching. Glacians spread their scrolls on low desks, sharp-eyed, recording every syllable. The lupins flanked the doors, broad-shouldered and grim, hands never far from their axes. And at the center, seated in ordered rows, sat their Tigran generals. Their striped hide stark even in the torchlight. Their claws drummed against the wood, as if to remind us they had little need for words when talons would suffice. Lord Tawana sat quietly at the end of the table, waiting patiently for the officials waiting patiently for the official proceedings to begin, while Lady Tawana was already exchanging pleasantries with a Glacian diplomat, trying his best to stifle laughter at such an important event. Zara and I sat at a separate desk next to the record keeper. I fumbled nervously, wondering if I had prepared enough ink and parchment. None of that would matter. None of it. Right? Nothing I had copied in the dusty chronicles would have prepared me for his entrance. The Osorian entered last, as was his right, and the chamber bent to him as though it had been built for this moment alone. The lupins at the door stamped their axes to the stone, a sound like thunder rolling through the hall. The Tigran generals lowered their eyes, a ritual concession. Even the Glacians, who prided themselves on their wit, paused their scratching quills, and stood up. I should have lowered my gaze, yet I could not. His bulk filled the archway, his fur silvered with frost, each step a shudder through the floor. His breath misted like smoke from a forge, and I swear I smelled iron and blood in those vapors. He did not look at us, not directly, and still I felt judged, as if my life was being weighed and found wanting. The Osorian moved to the seat prepared for him at the head of the chamber, the stone carved broad enough to hold his gaff. Behind him, a ceremonial axe, sculpted finely from the best steel, with intricate metalwork, too fine to be of Nyxborian origin, with its coiled serpentine motifs and inlaid filigree, a weapon shaped as much for spectacle as for blood. That alone would have been warning enough. When he sat, the silence deepened, interrupted by gentle footsteps as the banquet was laid. Rows of Leporans entered the halls clad in fine clothing and rouge, a stark contrast to the ones outside the castle walls, save a single detail: leather collars marking their servitude. Their dainty hands set the table with roasted meats, black bread, and wine as dark as clotted blood. My nerves were replaced with hunger. I remember gorging on it, glad to have anything resembling a real meal after weeks of salt fish and mushy potatoes. An offering, I thought at a time, meant to honor our mission. I remembered enjoying it then, though for the life of me, I can no longer recall what it tasted like. Zara didn't even touch her food. Perhaps she saw it for what it really was: an altar set before a sacrifice. The scent of grease and wine still lingered in the air as the tables were cleared. Plates, goblets. Wait, actually, let me just pause it for a little bit and unpause the text-to-speech audio. All right? Okay. I think the chapter started off really well. Any comments, any thoughts? Is the foreshadowing like hard enough? Are things picking up pace fast enough that you like? Is it a real page turner so far? I think it's I think I did okay. And I know Manta in his haste would already have read the entire thing.
No real complaints from me yet.
Yeah. Okay, so I wanted it to be a real page turner. So I think I had to, because the thing about this is I had to write this as if Jakob was still reeling from the event, but had to try to explain everything as best he could, right? So there's that. And the entire thing pre event had to be like loose pages of things being put together. It had to feel like that a little bit. But okay, anyways, I'm going to turn off the TDS again and continue where we left off. Right? The scent of grease and wine. The scent of grease and wine were still lingering in the air as the tables were cleared. Plates and goblets replaced with scrolls and parchment, and warmed, spiced whey was being served to clear throats and clear. Sorry. Oh goodness. Sorry. I in the after what I'll show this, right. I went through the trouble of coming up with a whole drink for the whole thing of something, a non-alcoholic beverage. But the thing is, yeah, I'm gonna go off on a tangent, right? First off, I lost it a little bit because do you know the way? I'm so sorry. I can't unhear that once I read it out loud. So oh, that is so bad. Yeah, but it is but anyways, I came up with a drink but for the Exporians, right? And if you clicked on the links, you will go through a rabbit hole of various different things like spiced whey and cha and all these various different things and drinks and things and cha and whatchamacallit, storm glass, all that stuff, right? If you are ever interested in looking through the wiki, yeah, it is definitely a real rabbit hole if you go down it, yeah. But anyways, oh big focus. No Ugandan knuckle memes in the head. Let's just put that aside. Have a little bit of a breather. Okay. Continue. The scent of grease and wine still lingered in the air as tables were cleared. Plates and goblets replaced with scrolls and parchment, and warm, spiced whey was being served to clear throats and cleanse palates. A few Glacian interpreters were permitted to join us at that table, as Lord Tawana presented our teaching. His words flowed steady, measured, with a calm cadence of a man who knew the weight of every syllable. For a moment, I believed we were winning them. The Glacians whispered and wrote without interruption. The Tigrans held their tongues. Even the Osorian seemed to incline his massive head in thought. Suddenly, a crash interrupted Lord Tawana's delivery, followed by an angry roar. A nervous Leporan has spilled hot whey on the lap of a Tigran general. Retribution was swift. His hand swiped at the defenseless hare, leaving her broken on the floor. Half a dozen Leporans rushed in to clear the spill and carried away the injured girl. And soon the hall was still once more. Lady Tawana rose. She did not plead. She did not bargain. She spoke as though fire itself had chosen her tongue. Her demand was clear, that worship of Mawu be granted to all castes, from Oryxian serfs to Liporan slaves. It was more than bold. Interpreters started, trying to deliver her words without endangering their own lives, as she challenged the foundation of Nestorian society itself. My quill stopped. The room froze. Her words may be brazen, but perhaps the shared prayer with a Leporan child the night prior had steeled her resolve. Lord Tawana looked to her in disbelief before walking to her side. Their methods may differ, but what was spoken cannot be withdrawn, and he would support her words like they were his own. The pause ended with murmurs between glaciers, followed by protests from Tigrans. The room. Wait. Okay. Shouts soon filled the room in Nexporian tongue. Let me rewrite that. Let me note that on the rewrite. Okay. Shouts soon filled the room with Nexporian tongue, pointed fingers. No, the room soon filled. There we go. The room soon filled with shouts in Nexporian tongue, pointed fingers, and bared fangs. Yeah, that was the rewrite. The Lupins tightened their grips on their axes, while I heard the faint clatter of metal from the gallery. The Snowarians, I think, had unsheathed their daggers. But before damnation was loosed upon us, a thunderous sound echoed through the chamber. The Osorian, palms together, silenced the hall with a single clap. As the Tigrans returned to their seat, the bear rumbled assent with a formal, solemn nod. The Tawanas turned to each other. Smiles beamed across their faces. I could only imagine what dreams they saw for the future. The dreams they foresaw? Well, the dreams they saw for the future. Relief swept me then. Foolish relief. For I did not yet piece together the truth. The Nexporian heart. Hearing her voice, I turned to Zara, expecting a smile, only to see the same blank expression, the same one she had last night. Ripped out demands. As a chill ran down my spine, I began to notice things. First, being the writing on the Glacian record keeper's parchment. I've seen Nexporian script before, even their accursedly difficult cursive. But the meanderings on the page reminded me less of letters, but more scribbles I'd make as a child when boredom took me. Second, I recalled the morning crowd, clamoring towards the cage. The fights begin today, because today was first day of blood moon, when blood might flow again without breaking their sacred laws. They had waited until it was permitted to kill, when atrocities committed would be forgotten, undocumented, buried beneath the excitement of blood sport. Finally, something else dawned on me. The dead of winter was but few moons ago, so there will be nothing to eat aside from preserved foods and hardy crops, especially up north. So what fresh meat was served on the table? My stomach began to churn. Lady Tawana briefly turned away from the table to glance at Sarah, to share her victory with her daughter, not knowing that the Osorian had reached back behind him for the ceremonial axe. Of course, Muhammad's craft. The damned Shedders were in on this as well. The blade fell fast, but Lord Tawana was faster. He threw himself forward, arms wide, shielding her with his own body. As he fell, his final words were not a sermon, not a plea, but a single name, born from his last breath. Tara! Hooray! It is the betrayal of the Nyxbor. And let me turn back on the text to speech. How did it all read? I went through this so many different times. This was so hard for me. Because I wanted to okay, first off, the biggest trouble for me, especially previously in previous chapters, was I had to replace so many instances of the word silence or silent. Oh, just give me a second. I'm feeling woozy from the reading. And เรียมฮะ ช่วยหน่อยครับ หลอดหล่น
Not
my
ash kissing, but this was pretty good. Nothing I could see obviously wrong except for the shouts in the room miswriting.
yeah, I mean, I need to rewrite that. เดี๋ยวขอน้ำแข็งกับโค้กหน่อยครับเพราะว่าพี่นั่นละหน้ามืดเล็กน้อยว่าเดี๋ยวขอลูกอมด้วยดีกว่าพี่ว่าพี่โกปิโก้น่าจะเหลืออยู่แล้วเอาน้ำด้วย Yep. I finished my coffee. I'm still feeling a little woozy, but oh, I'm disappearing. Oh no. Let me adjust my green screen a bit.
The little paragraph where Lady Tawana turned to glance at Zara could use a bit of touching up.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? There we go. My head's no longer blotting. Okay. Because I want her to like, yeah. I'll think about it. Yep. Assault soon filled. Tawana. Does it need more detail? Less detail? Something a little bit because I wanted the moment to be, yeah, because what happened is what needs to happen is the realization, right, that this whole thing was a trap. And yeah, I think there needs to turn that the whole realization that the whole thing was a trap. Maybe Jacob could want to say something. Maybe But before I could voice, yeah, maybe Jakob could try to interject before he could voice anything. Because he needs to realize already. Anything you want to you see in particular that could add to that little sentence right here. But yeah.
1 second, typing.
Okay, sure. And I'll just rest for a little bit. I'm going to enjoy this little bit of sugar. Oh. Mm. I could never it's such a bad habit. Whenever I get a lozenge or anything with a little bit of sugar, I just chew. I can't not chew. It's a coffee. It's a cappuccino flavored lozenge, and it's so sinful. I can't not do anything but chew it. Okay. Oh, okay. More tenses. It's remembered the sound more than sight. I remembered doing the time walk. Ah. Okay, I'm going to edit some of the master copy stuff while I wait. And what else? Okay, Crown Day. There it goes. Dorian move.
Just a bit of rewording. Lady Tawana turned from the audience of Nyxporians, her eyes meeting Zara's. Her attention diverted in a moment of revelry, she heard the Ursorian rise from his seat. He approached, his eyes fixed on the matron. She did not see his raised paw, or the Mohamir axe within it.
Ooh, that sounds great. That sounds amazing. Lady Tawana turned from the audience of Nyxporians, her eyes meeting with Zara's, her attention diverted in a moment of revelry. You heard the Azorian rise. Okay. I'll grab that.
And then go into the blade fell fast paragraph.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for your contributions. I will take that sentence and Okay, I'll take that sentence and I will rework it. Definitely. That is a really strong sentence. Thank you, Mana. But yeah, okay, so I need to reword it a little. What's the reword about? Okay, let me just open up here. So, um, there needs to be yep. This needs to be a realization because there needs to be a short blurb to realize that the um uh Muhamir or the reptilian people are in on the conspiracy to silence this as well, right? And there's a couple of places where I could place the Muhamir craft. I could place the Muhamir craft all the way back here if I wanted to. Here, right? Where it says Nick's origin, where it called 17 motifs in the filigree blood. Muhamir craft. Yep. A gift, perhaps. Like a gift, perhaps, from the Muhamir. Yep.
Indeed.
Yep, there we go. And yep, because I wanted the realization to we could have that over there. And okay, so all right, I'm going to say this a little bit before, but as a kind of a spoiler, that this is going to be a detail. This is going to be a detail that I'm going to absolutely well get. I'm not sure if I'm going to get flack for, or if I'm going to have. Yeah, I'm definitely going to get flack for, right? So what's going to happen right here? I want you to notice this term right here. Right? I think I mentioned it before, but this is a derogatory term with a hard R. If you didn't notice that or realize that already. Right? And so and in the process of our journey with Jacob, he's going to realize this is implied in the first chapter, becomes apparent in the Muhamir chapters. He's gonna meet a female Muhamir, and in later chapters, they're gonna be his become his wife. And that's going to be an oh no moment. But then it is why it's important, actually, is because I wanted to the mechanics of mechanics. Oh my goodness! I wanted to people to know that cross species love and birth is possible. Like halflings are possible, but it
I
is
think it's fine.
Yeah.
Obviously, in this world and in this particular situation, we are dealing in a clash of cultures. The use of such profane language would very much exist in such world and in such a situation.
It's not that. It's just that uh it is it's not the fact that it's fine. It's more. I think it's I love that it's going to be a uh it's going to be a what's it called? It's gonna be non-obvious. I want it to be non-obvious at first. I think this is uh a implied racism becomes obvious racism, and his his worldview becomes transformed through the journey as well. It's a nice arc for him to, because it is important to for him to be transformed by the journey as well. And there's a couple of things. A reason I want to um for this to happen is that because he needs to uh show this is a show don't tell moment. He needs to have a child with a Mohamir lady, right? And to show that it's possible. But also, this is going to make and there needs to be an implied that later down the line, when they're older, that he was romantically involved with Zara, and that she is what's the word? She can't have children, right? So and it's going to be a bit of a piece to puzzle together, that she was romantically involved with other species, that she was romantically involved with Jakob at a point, and she was she regardless of partners, yeah, it's not Jakob's fault. So regardless of partners, she was she's unable to have children, and it falls into the um it falls into the lore that um yeah, I think and that's part of the lore, but uh, we will Jacob will mention in his memoirs that she can't have children, but in that instance, um readers or readers would just wait, how does he know? Or maybe we could have a footnote at the end written by someone else. But but we need to think about the mechanics of all that as well. Okay, right. I'm feeling a little bit better after I had some sugar, right? And now
Proofread by XYZ.
Hmm? Wait, proofread by XYZ? Wait, should I know who XYZ is?
Nothing, I was making a comment.
Oh, okay. Wait, proofread by... Okay. I'm going to turn off text-to-speech again, and then continue reading. Okay. Let's see where we last left off. Oh, this goes where? This goes... No. The wrong screen. Switch to my live stream screen. Give myself an extra view. Pop this off. Okay. I remember the sound more than the sight. The thud of metal cleaving through bone and flesh. I looked down as my stomach revolted, and before I could stop myself, I retched. my notes soaking in sour vomit. Pages of details were lost. Yet even now, as I recall the scene, I must pause to empty my stomach once again. By the time I managed to lift my head, Lady Tawana was now alone before the council. Crimson seeping into her sleeves. Okay. Okay, where was it? Crimson seeping into her sleeves as she cradled her husband's lifeless body. A single question, whisper quiet, escaped her lips. Why? We cannot allow it. We cannot allow it. A glacier. We cannot allow it. A glacier chimed in with an icy glare. A foreign god, a foreign fire. We are bound to our ways. To yield is to betray our fathers. Wait, okay, I'm gonna read this in two different ways, okay? How about I read it in the Russian accent? We cannot allow it. A glacier chimed in with an icy glare. A foreign god. Ah, damn it! I can't just shuffle accents. Okay, that needs to be До свидания. Я, да, Russian. Слушай, Alligator. Okay. We cannot allow it. Okay, I can't. I can't shuffle accents. That is too hard for me. Right. I'm just gonna read it through with Jakob's voice. Yeah. We cannot allow it. A glacier chimed in with an icy. No, we are not writing smart, Savala. No, we are not. Okay. That's a different no, let's not. This is with assistance of ChatGPT. It cannot do NSFW stuff, anyways. So, the smut comes later. No smut. Bad. Where's my bonk meter? Okay, let me redeem. Okay, just give me a second. There we go. Damn it, Silvala. And also, I had my text to speech turned off. Was that because I'm recording this? Okay. Right. We cannot allow it. A glacier chimed in with an icy glare. A foreign god, a foreign fire. We are bound to our ways. To yield is to betray our fathers. To yield is to die. A Tigran general rose, his voice sharp as a lash. His voice a sharp lash. You speak of freedom, but freedom is disorder. Faith divides. We will not fracture ourselves for your God. No wonder your gods have abandoned you. I watched as Lady Tawana's grief turned, like flame finding new air. With indignation, he stood and did what no envoy was meant to do. Ignored the interpreters. Glacian's quill stiffened, their words frozen, as her gaze fixed upon the Asorin himself, still gripping the ceremonial axe slicked with her husband's blood. As if the breach of protocol was even more egregious than the murder just wrought. Not your courtiers, he said. You. Look at me. Answer Is this strength? The Asaurian shifted, heavy shoulders rising like a mountain disturbed, head tilted in thought. When he finally spoke, it was not an elegant tongue of the Glacians, but broken Anzanian, blunt and childlike. Faith bad, strength good, Nixpo strong. Her eyes widened. The words were few, simple, too simple. No cunning in them, no argument, no grasp of the weight of her plea. Only a presence vast as the mountain, empty of nuance, terrifying in its finality. I could only imagine what thoughts entered Lady Tawana's mind. Pity, perhaps, seeing in her eyes not cruelty, but vacancy, throne filled by shadows, filled by a shadow of power, his voice chained and wielded by those who bent to their designs. He then looked around the chamber, first as the Glacians who had cracked earlier at her jest. Were the true schemers performative? No, were they the true schemers behind it all? Were the laughs even real, or practiced formality? What of the Tigrant's anger? Were they genuine or performative to justify their actions? Her eyes panned further at the Snowarians who glared sharp as knives, the Lupins whose paws shuddered as they gripped their axes, even at the costumed leopards, peering from the servants' quarters. Something was missing, caged. And in that mesmerizing stillness, no, the entire chamber was jolted awake by a loud wail. Little Zara wept, not quietly, not as a child hiding her fear and grief, but with sobs that shook her whole body. Her cries tore through the halls, raw and unashamed, echoing against the stone until it seemed the walls themselves mourned. Lady Tawana Lady Tawana gazed at her daughter, then back at the Nixpo, cold, unreciprocating. Something clicked into place. I recognized her softened expression. It is etched into my memory, for it was the same smile she wore against my biting remarks on the caravan. She was studying them, not with contempt, but a mother's eye. Even here, even now, she finds compassion. She found compassion. She found compassion for those who wronged her. For those who wronged her. You cannot cry, can you? Hooray! And that ends the second chapter. Oh boy. Okay. Oh my. Oh, just give me a second. I'll stop the recording. Oh boy. How was that chapter? How did that read? Let me turn on text to speech real quick. Well, and as a spoilers for next chapter, what's going to happen next chapter? The lady to we're going to recall the fact that the lack of tears was super unnatural. Jacob would recall the fact that not even a child's cry was in the streets. So that was completely unnatural. Something was ripped off away from them, right? And Lady Tawana, in her compassion and a little bit of manipulation, she's gonna ask the Ursorian to slay her. It is at they're going to reach an impasse because they've realized that something was very wrong with them in their society, and then that slaying her now would make her a martyr, and that would trigger some, like, they can't slay her now because she realized something very wrong with her within society, right? And slaying her now would make her a martyr. And so they had to they had to stop. But Lady Tawana is going to ask the Azorian to do so anyway, basically manipulate him so that he swung the axe at her. Zara is going to launch into song. He's going to, yeah, and trigger the first miracle. And with that miracle and a little bit of the aftermath is going to end chapter 3. And chapter 4 will start the hands of the Mohamir with the aftermath of the Nyxborian Renaissance 7 years later. Okay. So, feedback time. How did things read so far?
Fairly good. The complaints I had in the prior chapter about details isn't as present.
Because I figured out what the details was. It was something called adverb. It was adverbs. It was all about adverbs. I read through, and basically anything that has it is called a literary device called useless adverbs. Or use of adverbs is a very, very weak way of writing, right? Very, very weak, for example, is a weak way of writing. Use of adverbs could be replaced with vocabulary. So that's where it came from. And ChatGPT also spotted what you were talking about, and we combed through everything on the right through of this next chapter. The other thing that I tended to do for this chapter was using silently. I had about 20 instances where I used the word silent that I had to go back and replace with different words. The morning lulled, tranquility, tranquil, all that stuff. Hushed, stillness, all that good stuff. So, hey, that's how you go about using ChatGPT as an editor. Don't have it write for you? That's bad. Write and have it edit for you. Very good. Yeah, that was the general gist of things. And I cannot wait to finish this chapter.
The faith bad, strength good, Nyxbor strong is meant to be simple, but it feels a little plain. Strength rules. Nyxbor strong, faith weak.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I wanted the subversion of the. Oh yeah, that's true, because it has to be the strength rules. Yeah. Yeah, it is right. Convey, like, it is a much stronger, less is more statement. Good call, Mana. Good call. Um. Oh boy. Okay. Oh boy, am I going to have trouble with the bathroom today. Because what's happening this morning is that I had coffee and it had lots of water. And later I'm gonna have soup, and not soup, but uh, whatchamacallit, um, yeah, chicken soup as
Soup
lunch.
from the soup store?
Not soup from the soup store. No, it is handcrafted soup with clear broth. Yeah, it's going to be clear broth with lots of veggies and lots of protein. It's going to have egg in it. It's going to have chicken breast and um fish tofu, amongst other things. Okay, I think that's going to be uh it for lore. But actually, before we end things, I'm gonna spend some time looking at some of the other articles. Right? I'm not sure what else you wanted me to expand on. It's expand on? No, expand on. Like, for example, do you know the way, the spiced way, which is the traditional exploring beverage widely consumed before the spread of hua cha? Did I talk about hua cha last time? No, right? We didn't talk about all the various different drinks and things.
I don't think so.
Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the world building that I've been doing. So first off is the warm spiced whey. Warm spiced whey is served in wooden cups, protein-rich, non-alcoholic drink flavored with Mohammedan spices and sweetened with local honey and dried berries. So it is a drink that is very I had to come up with a drink that is non-alcoholic and uh and works well in climate. Like I said, and it has to be pre-tea, right? So, um, and this is the first thing that, after brainstorming, this was the first thing that I came up with. So, spiced whey was the thing before tea, right? And it had to show signs of trade happening, so they spiced it with Muhammad trade route, like early trade route stuff, right? And if you know anything about history, the what actually triggered the Renaissance was um, trade routes and cultural exchange through trade routes, or what would you call today as medieval fairs. So shows, puppet shows, or like you like the Renaissance fair. Yeah, there we go. Renaissance fairs. Before the Renaissance fair were the medieval fairs, and that's cultural exchange really expanded people to different cultures and the arts and stuff, right? And this was the beginning of that, but it didn't. This was already happening, but due to the locked or caged emotions of the Knicks board, they weren't able to trigger this renaissance. But yeah, we the renaissance of uh the renaissance will basically happen overnight, as the miracle takes root, and we're gonna start seeing a complete cultural shift at the beginning of chapter 4. Um, but the other item that's here is huocha. Huocha is my I this is a I decided to make combined tea and coffee. That's what it is. Huo means fire, and cha is tea. It is shrub native to the Shuren or the tree folk. It has bitter, energizing seeds. It's just basically coffee that's been brewed, right? Earthy drink that increases focus, quickens reflex, and heightens awareness. And why this is such an important item in the world I'm building is that I wanted to create a coffee/tea equivalent, because if you the one thing that triggered the Enlightenment or that sped up the Enlightenment was the replacement of uh the replacement of alcoholic beverages with coffee houses. So if you thought about coffee, the fact that coffee and tea, oh, well, not so much tea, but yeah, tea, but coffee becoming the drink of choice rather than alcohol, people had clearer minds. People had coffee houses become the fire to stoke revolution. That came into being. So I had to come up with a tea equivalent. I could have used tea, and why this is important is a few things. The history of China, that if you know anything about the tea trade, right? China dominated the tea trade. Everybody was drinking tea, and China had everything. So they were not able to, China had everything. They basically had all of the resources. They only accepted silver. It was bankrupting the British because the British tea was a sensation. They could only import tea. They could only have it in silver. Like we have that's why the East India Company was a
You
thing.
could say they had teetotal dominance of the trade.
But yeah. So yeah, and this is going to play an important part in the dominance of the Shuren, because in the Shuren chapter, Zara is going to unlock the Shuren, unlock the Shuren as a race, pretty much. The Shuren weren't known as a race before this, right? She was able to communicate with them, right? And after unlocking them as a race, and they got things, and this was a plays an important part much later in the story, as it went to the Wiracocha, or the bird people, because in the story the Wiracocha were living a life of what's the word that I used? Hedonism. There we go. And because during a celestial event called the Starfall, they were left with outfly. They used to have flight. They used to be able to fly, but an event called Starfall got them mutated, and they weren't able to fly anymore. They've become very intelligent, and they were unable to fly anymore. So there's that. And also they've shortened their lifespans. So unable to continue. They unable to. They basically devolved to a life of hedonism. Right, like very very short lifespans. What's the point? Nihilistic hedonism. They're going to spend their entire lives partying, reveling, and stuff. But the arrival of the tea, right, is going to be really, really the arrival of tea, or the huacha, huacha, right, over into that culture is important. And I really love this because what happened is during the Wiracocha arc, they called it huacha, which is a mispronunciation of huacha that stuck, and the name resonated with their own word waka, which is sacred. Yep. So what happened is, the arrival of the tea gave them the enlightenment. They sipped the tea. They were able to become very, 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 very smart well, they were able to use their utilize their intelligence rather than dulling it, right? So transform the life of ignorance is bliss into enlightenment through the tea. But of course, they had to go overboard and go, Jesse, we had to cook. They cooked. They turned into an extract, into a resin. Invented by the Viracocha during the Age of Names, marketed as Dr. Amaru Hapak's invigorating tonic. A kitchen physician's attempt to extend the short Viracocha lifespan, and they distilled it into a syrup, crystallite into a potent resin, quickly banned after widespread recreational use. They cooked. And now they smuggle it under the name Stormglass.
Oh no, the furries discovered meth.
Yes. Okay. Or the birdies, or whatever the bird equivalent of furries are.
World building. Let's go.
Hi, Confused Biscuit. You missed the reading, but you could actually go and follow the
Hiya, biscuit. All right.
Yeah.
I'll lurk for a bit.
Thanks, Confused Biscuit. Lurk for a bit as we keep going over
It's
here.
okay. Hi, Bet Erman.
Bitterman Ta? That's the first time I heard Manog being called the Betterman. But that's fun. Okay. And we're talking about teas and coffees and other substances. Wacha. Yep. So, and I think I also mentioned the only other substance that I mentioned earlier.
That Bet Erman pronunciation is cursed just like the Let's Go 0000.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, let's go ahead and explore all pages. Yeah, the only other substance that got an quote unquote update is Lumina. It has
Apparently bird furries are just called avians. That's kinda lame, not beakies.
Okay. Cheeky brickies. Oh wait, did I not update Lumina? I thought I gave it a new image. Okay. Were there any other things that I have not
I vote for beaky to be a slur in this world, lol.
Yeah. Hooray! Let's go beaky. Yep. But the thing is, it's going to be really hard. No, it's going to be as a. I don't have the world maps set up yet, but that's probably going to be an important distinction because what happened is as a world building concept, right? There's an old world, new world thing. So there's the old world continent is going to consist of the cradle of civilization, which is Anzania, being raided pretty much. But wait, do we have a timeline of stuff? All right, we don't have a we don't have quite a timeline of stuff as of yet. Well, I do, but I haven't copied it over. I wrote it in Obsidian. But the timeline of stuff is we had AW0, which is the first written word. The Golden Age was ended in 77,000. No, 7,700 AW. And yeah, let's go. Actually, let's go look at the calendar page, right? Yep. And Zanian calendar. Yep. Do we have anything? No. Yeah. I have to rename this. Yep. It simplified trade diplomacy prophecy. But yep, it is at the age 10,000 was the first time the calendar was regulated. But anyways, what was I talking about? uh not the timeline. Oh yeah, the map. So um I don't have a map yet. I'd probably go to a map making apps of some sort to show this, but we have the old world, which is Tanzania as a cradle. It's going to be resource rich but kind of harsh environment. uh great for exploitation, just like Africa. And then we have the Nixbor, which is the tundra north. um I think there's a environmental, the it used to be arboreal, right? But it eventually become colder and colder, right? As they pass the golden age. We have the Mohammed floodplains, which is equivalent to the Middle East. And then we had the Shuran, which is China, but it is walled off by nature in the Bramble Bastion, right? So that's the old world. And what's left is that we have an area that's unreachable over there, um, which unreachable, which is the Shuran, meaning that what's left are the Muhammad reptilian people coming in to raid and Anzania and war back and forth with the Nixbor. Nixbor had their golden age. Nixbor was basically the Romans. They had a classical age where they conquered everything, took over, made the Anzanians subservient, yeah, and basically warred back and forth between the Muhammad, who were like Persia. So ancient enemies. They were all ancient enemies, right? And with the fall of the Golden Age, or basically equivalent to the fall of the Bronze Age, the Bronze Age collapse. I think that's what it's called over here in our actual timeline. They became less prominent, and the medieval age, like we didn't have a golden age. Things just went dormant for a few thousand years. เตรียมฮะโป๊หมดยังเลยต้องเปิดขวดใหม่ใช่ไหมงั้นเปิดขวดใหม่ให้หน่อยครับ So yeah, there's that, and this they had to establish the calendar. They had to start it on an auspicious year. The calendar is like lunar based. Oh, sorry, that opening a new bottle of soda startled me a bit. But yeah, anyways, and that's everything that's happening over now is in the old world. The new world had the Kaab, which is the equivalent of the insect people, equivalent of the Mayans. The Viracocha, which are the equivalent of the Peruvian. Did I say Peruvian? The Quechua people. There we go. And so Incas. There we go. I mean, Machu Picchu is Incan, right? And the what's the last group of people? And the last group of people are the Jalaya, which are the Southeast Asian people, and Southeast Asian / South Asian people. Yeah, my people, which are frogs and amphibians. I'm gonna have the frogs and amphibian peoples live on a set of islands that they could travel short distances for, but couldn't traverse that they couldn't traverse the oceans. So they're going to be somewhat a Polynesian / Southeast Asian inspired. They require very clean water to live. They are averse to salt water, so they could actually only travel short distances in the ocean, and they're pretty much stuck on their own isolated island. So the tribally, and they separately had their own culture. And the New World So the Wiracochans are going to be they're going to turn really into early 1900s prohibition America. So that's going to be fun, right? Because they're going to have they're going to have a prohibition because alcohol's banned. Stormglass is a new thing. It's going to be banned. There's going to be drugs and alcohol and everything is going to be real fun in a crime-ridden city. And the Kaab are going to be. I'll talk about the Kaab a bit more, but they've transformed. Earlier, they had. You know how they become the vault of memories and they have a hive mind and stuff? The map wise, they're going to be in a terrain that's cut off. Or basically, they're going to their Kaab are going to have a land bridge to perhaps Anzania or to everywhere that is mountainous that no one except the Kaab could cross. So basically, if you want, you could try wandering into Kaab territory, you will not survive. And the oceans near it are horrible, storm brewing oceans, and beyond those mountainous areas are the highlands of the Wiracocha. So those areas are not reachable by conventional means. Only in the later decades in Zara's Miracle that they unlocked exploration, better ships, etc. Trade through trade through shipping and all that good stuff. Yeah, but that's the general gist of the world that I'm building. And all that stuff I've written down somewhere, and haven't mirrored up to this wiki yet. But there's so much more world building that I've thought through. I've world built for the future, just in case this game ever becomes a reality. But currently,
it's very cool stuff.
Yeah, that's what I've thought about it so far, because generally Zara's Miracle is speeding the world, fast tracking the world from what happens if we fast track the world from medieval society straight into
I need to see
post-industrialization.
Kingpin, LOL.
Yep. Fat Chocobo? Yep. Definitely. You come to my people. Yep. I'm just thinking of bird name equivalent to Jabba the Hutt. Chirpy the Hoot? A fat owl kingpin called Chirpy the Hoot? That is, I'm capturing that. Sorry. Sorry. Okay. That he is going into the list of NPCs. Chirpy the Hoot. There he is. All right. Okay. So what am I going to do? I'm going to take a small break right now. About 20 minutes. I'm going to eat a little. And when we come back in a few minutes, I'm going to link the whatchamacallit here. I'm linked the streaming here. We're going to go back and play some more Gundam. So let me switch back real quick to this.
A canary would be a neat metaphor for the effects of the drug. A scene of a canary bird folk succumbing to the drug, similar to how canaries were used as a warning signal in old mineshafts for toxic fumes.
A canary in a coal mine, yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, first off, let me post this so that people could go wait. And I'm going to go ahead and thank my members for a little bit. So thank you, Mana, for being here, first of all. And thank you, Apilux, Rafa Vega Chapa, Amislam, Chris Burden for being members at the time of streaming, getting to watch a bit early. Cool badges and emojis for whenever you comment, as well as getting turned into a Pokemon. So if you want to support my channel in any way, feel free to do so. Otherwise, don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you want to see more, hit the bell to get notified for when I go live. And also follow me on Twitch. Those things are all free. But like I said, thank you for members for making the channel possible. All right, I will do a quick break and follow the link to the next bit of the stream. And I'll be right back. See you guys in a bit. Should I use the BRB screen instead? Yeah, there we go.